So the wildest thing that's ever happened in my agency was probably one of the times where I almost got into a fight with the donut guy.
Oh boy.
And so listen, man, I was a new agent, trying to study for my financial tests and bought a book of business, had all this stress and, couldn't figure out how to do anything and have all these vendors coming in all the time. So I told my front desk people, I was like, do not let these vendors come in. I'm working, trying to build a business here. Those were long and frustrating days when I first started. But anyways, guy comes in, kind of looked like a kind of a weird guy, but he had a box of donuts and had some customers in my front office there. And he comes in wanting to sell donuts to me for some off the wall charity. It probably wasn't even a charity, but probably like a donut scam or something. But anyways, told the front desk office not to bother me, but this guy insisted that he had to talk to me and said I was very unchristian-like because I wouldn't talk to him. So back in those days, it didn't take much to get my blood boiling, so I'm kind of like irritated. I storm out there, and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not interested, so why don't you just go? And he kind of said, well, you're not very Christian-like, and so I got real close to him. And I kind of whispered in his ear so none of the clients could hear me. And I said, why don't we go outside and talk about this? I could see, he probably could see the anger. And so anyways, he walks outside and I walk outside and he has the donuts and he's kind of like backpedaling. And so I took a step forward and I tried to knock the donuts out of his hands. And he starts MFing me and running and I'm chasing him down the main street, and all of a sudden, old beat up Pinto comes flying in, and the door opens, he jumps in, and the door slams, takes off, spinning wheels, and took off. And so my staff from that day on, always referred to the donut incident and me trying to fight the donut guy. That was pretty funny. So, anyways, my name is Chad Kish. I'm agency owner here in Easley, South Carolina, and I'm an insurance dude.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
Yes. Oh, man, I love it. So
I
good.
think we could all relate to something that's happened in the agency, like the donut guy. But what I find so interesting about that story is that he had a getaway driver. So obviously, this guy is pissed off some other people. It wasn't just you if he had a getaway car.
Yeah. You have to question when somebody pulls in with a dozen donuts of Krispy Kreme and that they're trying to get money for charity. A lot of times it's, I've learned that it's a scam. So,
well, why not just sell the donuts? Why do they have to chalk it up to a charity? Does that make it more marketable?
I guess
they could maybe, charge more for the donuts.
Right. And so in the donut funnel, they're increasing their conversion rate by the donut scam funnel. They increase their conversion rate by throwing in charity.
Well, their acquisition cost is low, and then they get a good return on investment.
Right.
Because they can sell me on the charity.
Yeah. That helps push it. It's a good marketing stance to their charity. I wonder if he was registered 501c3.
Interview that guy for sales position.
See, now, if this happened today, would you have turned it around into an opportunity where it's now, hey, maybe you'd be a good sales guy? I mean, he is persistent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In today's world, though, like right now, we just went through half my team is out with COVID, so I got the door shut and trying to keep as many people out because I'm just trying to maintain my staff right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're hearing this across the board. I mean, there's just stories left and right. I had to close my office last year because of it. And then one of my offices closed. And then like a couple weeks later, the other office had to close. And yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, this is navigating those times can be tough. That's for sure.
I've had COVID twice, and I just had it beginning of the year.
Oh,
And then luckily, half my team works from home. So
nice.
I was able to spread out the team so that, we didn't get like everybody sick, but it ended up that half my sales team was out all at one time.
Ugh,
it's tough.
It started off January really good, and then it's been a struggle ever since, trying to catch up.
I think, yeah, when you get momentum and something comes in to kill the momentum, man, it's tough because it's like that momentum's fun. It's fun when you got a team rocking, especially in sales. So let's backpedal a little bit and let's tell us a little bit about how you got into the insurance business pre-donut incident.
Yeah, pre-donut. Well, it was 2013. I was in surgical implant sales, orthopedics. I did that for 12 years. It was a great industry, but I really wanted to have my own business. And that's how I got into it. Never really thought I would sell insurance, but had an opportunity, bought a small $2 million agency in 2013, and kind of learned everything the hard way, learned how to do everything in the office. So here it is 8 years later, and through some acquisitions and some scratch agencies, I've pushing like 12 million now. So it's been a good ride so far.
Nice. Congratulations, Chad.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What would you say the earliest win was that really, besides the donut guy, that was fuel for your fire that really got you going and there was some, this can work?
Yeah, so I'll just put it this way. When I first started, when you have a debt on your book and you're coming in new, you kind of have a ceiling on what you think you can do. And so I always tell the story that kind of changed my whole thinking on business, and what I was doing was I had been an agent for 3 or 4 years, and I was pretty proud of myself because I was always, one of the top guys in the market. And I went to a honor ring of that, and at a Ritz-Carlton, whatever. And I thought I was kind of a big shot because I was there, and was golfing with some other agents, and started talking to some other guys. And one of the guys said, we were talking about numbers, and he said, "Yeah, I wrote 100,000 last month." And to me, that just blew me away because I was still a smaller agent. I just had 1 or 2 salespeople. And I think I was doing 40 or 50. And I said, how are you doing that? And he started talking to me, and it just really, blew my mind. So I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can I come and visit your operation?" And this guy was like 2 hours away, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, come on." So went to go see what he was doing, and he was running his operation 180% different than what I was. And he had started a scratch office. So after visiting him and seeing, what he was doing and what the potential was there, I decided in 2018 to start a scratch right after that. And by just kind of using this blueprint, I was able to put up some really big numbers and grow really fast with that scratch contract. And so ever since then, I've just really been trying to gravitate towards listening to people that are smarter than me, people that have been doing this longer and have had success. And that's one reason I'm an insurance dude. I've stumbled onto this, and I feel like this is really a game changer for us as far as like growing, growing with the type of business that we want to write, growing our agency long term.
Yeah. It's amazing once you plug yourself in with other people that have a vision, maybe past the ceiling that we have for ourselves, right? You can't really see it when you're in the woods, but then when you get up at the next tier and you're able to see it, like you went to his office, you saw the vision, you're like, holy smokes, my brain never even went here. I'm busy fighting donut guys, and you're, sometimes you have to see it. And I think elevating, like Jason and I are in some coaching groups that we paid a lot to be in, but now we're with people that it's like, holy moly. I mean, I never even thought of that. And it everything levels you up. It's just really interesting how important community is.
Yeah, that's what I love about the website you guys have, the encouragement. I love when people put up, "Hey, I wrote 15,000 this today," and my team's killing it. That positive reinforcement. And I tell you that, like you just said, when you first start, you're just fighting through the woods, just trying to figure out how everything works in the office. It's so overwhelming, but you just have to be open to that paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And believe it. But having mentors and stuff, I didn't really have a mentor, so groups like this can be your mentor. Because you can see what other people are doing.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's crazy. You don't know, like I think the most frustrating part is when you just don't know, and it's like, hey man, I'm open ears. Like I want to know, So it's like being able to see, like you went into that agency, you saw how it's done, man. If you see it, you can do it. Like that's just the way it is. But a lot of times it's hard to, you see the numbers that are coming in on emails. It's like, how are they doing that? That first year that I was at, when I first came into the insurance business, I was working at bars and stuff like that before. And I came in and man, I was like, I don't even know how to sell 2 policies, let alone, 100,000 like that. I was so far off. I didn't even know where to start. So finally, when I saw somebody that did it, they were kind enough to take me kind of under their wing. And it was like, now I get it. I can do it.
Yeah. And it's just like the expectation, right? So like we used to have these markets where we were like 30 or 40 in the market. And I remember when I first started, if I was in the top 10, I was excited. I thought, man, I'm really good. But now I look at it, and if I'm not number 1 in my market, then I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm looking at like what you guys are doing in your zone. I'm trying to get to that level to where I can get in the top 15 in the zone.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, so that's kind of what I'm shooting for, but I've had a lot of success, but it's all relative to what you think you can do,
Yeah.
100%. Yep. What's that quote? If you believe you can or can't do it, you're right. The Henry Ford quote. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you bought the agency, you started growing your team. You're a much bigger agency right now. Describe your team and the roles that they have in the agency.
Well, since I've been able to scale, I've scaled through, like I said, the scratch, and then I've 2 acquisitions. Last year I bought a book, about 2.6, and then this year I just closed on 1.8, and I'm merging some of these locations. And the beautiful thing about it is that you can, if you customize between sales and service, you can kind of cover a lot of gaps. So like I have 6 service people. All I do is customer service. And our phone's integrated so that, they can all take calls. Doesn't matter what location they're in or whatever, but they're cross-trained to service clients. And then I just have a sales team right now. I'm at 5 salespeople. I've made some big changes with my sales team because I was running the scratch office. I really wasn't too concerned about retention or cross-selling. I was just really focused on premium. And we really ran up the premium in our scratch office. But since I'd say May, I've really started to just look at my retention and quality of new business coming in. And so I've had to kind of change up my team members because some of my team members weren't good at writing the type of business I wanted. So right now I've got a pretty solid team of 5 LSPs that are, they probably average around 25,000 a piece. But I'm kind of looking to add a few more and kind of keep scaling up.
Yeah. Love it. Methodical, right? You grow a little, add. You can just keep leveling up.
Yeah.
I think that piece is important too, because we recently have really looked into the quality of business, and same thing, trying to really up the quality. I think that's a good point to make, that sometimes you start growing so fast and you're into putting up numbers that it's nice to you got to step back and say, okay, where are we writing the quality business? How are we doing that? Is everybody doing that, or some people taking shortcuts to win?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to my team about that, and even I've kind of noticed that some of my call-ins are monolines, and those are the ones that cancel more often.
Yeah.
And I tell my team, I was like, guys, just because somebody calls in, you can't just do a shortcut and write them a quick policy. You gotta, we lead with liability. We talk about the risk. We provide value. We're not selling on price.
Right.
And if you take the shortcut, those customers probably going to leave as soon as they get a little hiccup or a price increase.
Right.
Yep.
And so that's kind of been my marketing strategy. In my sales process, they all dovetail pretty well together. And the insurance dudes, the tele dudes, is phenomenal, because one thing I really like about that program is because we actually control the data. We're giving the data to the telemarketers, so that if you have good data, you're going to write better business. And if you have a good sales process, hopefully you're writing umbrellas and cross-selling and having better retention with your book as well.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah. So creating that kind of environment where they're writing better business, they're doing all the right things, requires a culture shift. And you said that you do have some remote folks. How do you maintain or foster a strong culture at your agency?
To be honest with you, that was a challenge. That was a real challenge I had, because I had all these moving parts. I had people everywhere. And I got to give you guys credit for, I don't know if it was Jason or Craig or which one y'all came up with this, but having a daily meeting every morning, that's had such a huge impact on my culture.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why is because it's made me a better leader for my team.
Yeah.
I'm communicating better with my team. I'm taking the time to coach them up. We're talking about issues. And, at first when I started the meetings, I thought, well, I'm not going to have enough info to talk to these. What am I going to say to my team every day? But it just, every day we just have something that good that comes out of the meeting that, I wasn't even really prepared to talk about, but, it just works out to where it really strengthened, for people that are working from home, you still want them to feel part of a team. And so just having that daily meeting every morning, that's been a huge difference as far as our agency culture.
I love that. It's not easy to do. I remember when we first started doing meetings, and they were sparse. We were barely doing them. But I mean, showing up to those, doing the meeting, I would get so nervous every day because I was like, oh, what do I say? And all that stuff. And then fast forward to now, then it's like Miguel just hit me up today and said that they're doing a second meeting, because we used to do 2 meetings a day. And then when COVID hit, having everybody at home, initially, we did 2 meetings a day because we wanted to, kind of check in later on the day, see where everybody's at and stuff. And like I said, that agency shut down, and they're all working from home again. And yeah, they're doing that second meeting, but the meetings are powerful. It's crazy. And you don't want to, I didn't want to do them at first.
I think was reluctant, and it's, but it worked. It works. It really helps.
Yeah, I think everybody has the same sort of approach when they haven't done the meetings, meaning that, like, we say, oh, what am I going to talk about? Or you get nervous about, being the dude and getting up in front, or, leading the thing. But it's so fundamentally easy, and it is precisely what they want and need, right? The team wants to be led. They want you to be fuel for them to really blow it up. And, as everybody says, it's one of the most important things that changes an organization, is having those sales meetings. Salespeople need to be led.
I think leadership, the agent has to be the leader. And my experience has been, I haven't always been a good leader, and I've always, been a hard worker and made numbers and stuff. But really, what turned the leadership thing for me around was when you just decide that everything that happens in the agency that is a failure, if you take ownership of that, and then work on the issues instead of trying to blame the LSP or blame somebody else for why we're not doing the right numbers, or maybe we're losing customers. So you got to just take ownership. And that really, I feel like that and the daily meetings have helped our culture a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Throwing away the ego, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny. The guy that wants to beat up the donut guy is ego driven and frustrated and, scarcity. And then the guy that is sitting here reflecting on everything and all these, any failure is me. I mean, that's a 180-degree shift,
Yeah. And I would have LSPs in the past that I thought maybe had more potential, and I would browbeat them. And it wasn't really good leadership. I should have just, tried to, instead of beating somebody down, just say, look, maybe this isn't for you or something. And so I try to lead by being positive with everybody. And I don't really try to scold my team because I don't think that really works.
Nah.
Right. I agree. And we've all been there. We've all, we've all been there. That's for sure. I think the reflection and the realization is how a good leader looks at it, right? See, looking back at those times and going, oh yeah, that I haven't always been the best. And I'm not now. Like, I'm definitely not the best. But trying to strive to be better is definitely what it takes. Let's kind of move forward into your recruiting process. Just curious how you bring on people as you've grown, and how big's your team now?
I have 6 service and 5 sales. And
Cool.
Look, I'm always recruiting. I use different vendors. I have ads out there all the time. And so I'm a member of another training group, and I try to listen to successful agents to see what they're doing. And one thing I stole from another agent, he did a webinar about it, but is work from home salespeople. And during this COVID time, and the fact that people just don't want to work, really kind of don't want to work, I used his strategy of trying to find people that were willing to work from home, with the idea that I could broaden my footprint versus, the old way I would look at it was just to try to find somebody within 20 minutes of my office, because
right,
you could find somebody good that's 45 minutes away or an hour away. Well, eventually they're going to get tired of the commute and be like, you know what? I'm just going to go with this guy that I'm closer to. That always limited, the amount of good people you could find. So the work from home thing has been great because I've pinpointed different cities. Like I've hired a girl that lives in Charlotte, and would have never done that before, and she's one of my best producers.
Wow.
And so cool. Charlotte's 2 hours from where I'm at. So you can find better qualified candidates, people that have insurance experience and with sales experience. They just may not live in your state. So if you find someone that's good, though, I mean, you can do all the meetings and everything that we do with Zoom and all of our reports, everything you can do, you can work from home. So that's been something new that I've done this year. I've hired several remote, and it's worked out really well. Before, I was kind of doing word of mouth, and I probably wasn't that good at finding people. That's something that I've become better at doing, but the interview process and everything. But that's the big game changer that I kind of tried to evolve to, is the work from home type of position.
Huh. And how about onboarding somebody when they're working from home? So what's that process look like? Because obviously it's a little more challenging when you're not sitting with them and able to constantly be with them.
Yeah. So the first thing is I wouldn't hire anybody that didn't already have their license and have experience, because I think it would be too hard to try to train them as a work from home. But so when I do find the right person, what I try to do is I've kind of learned the hard way that you think you got somebody really good, and then they have to go through your carrier's appointment process. That could take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks or whatever. What I've learned, I kind of start doing now is, before I do that, I'll let them call leads in my leads. I have probably 40,000 leads in my lead manager system, and so I'll put them on the phone first and see how they do. See if they're able to get quotes off of warm to cold leads. And I usually give them a quota. I like to see them sell 10 items by the first week or so. If they're local, I'll tell them to bring in on their first day, they have to bring in 10 deck pages. Nice. And I'll tell them that they have to get all those quoted. And then I just kind of put them, like on a 90-day plan. And if they're not hitting the numbers, then I'm quick to let them go.
Nice. Yeah.
It's slow to hire and quick to fire,
It's funny when people analyze my disc profile. I don't know if you've ever done the disc thing. It's pretty crazy and insightful, but like, that's the one thing that they say, like, you probably keep people a lot longer than you should. I'm like, yeah, I have it. And I know it too. And I should. Yeah, that's a tough one for me.
It's hard to fire people.
It is.
I've had sleepless nights, and I've just learned that, I'll just call them and say, hey, look, it's not working out. Sorry. And good luck.
Yeah. Well, and I think it makes it easier if you really create those expectations, and then it's, there's daily meetings and there's accountability meetings, and everybody really knows what they're doing.
Well, I left out a big part of what I do too. I skipped over the interview process.
Yeah.
I do the interview on Zoom, and then I show them how all my leads come in, how many phone calls they have to make. They're going to have to make 80 phone calls at least every day. They're going to have to get so many quotes, so many items. There's a pyramid that I have that shows, the bottom is how many calls they have to make, which is 80, or they have to get 10 quotes or sell 3 items.
Yeah.
And, I've kind of used some of the formulas you guys have talked about with Teledudes, because now that I have a lot of transfers coming in, I'm upping the requirements, right? Because they should be getting more quotes now because I'm investing more into the program.
Right. Yeah. Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.